I wanted to make this thing. It's a way for other comics to show themselves.
Oh, that's right. You're not hosting your own show.
They did him dirty.
Ari figured out a way to put it up somewhere else.
You thought about bringing it back?
All the time. I need your and Tom's help.
You guys ready for this? Okay. It's a fucking crazy night we're gonna have here.
Hello and welcome back to Comedy Means Business. My guest today is Ari Shaffir, who's just resurfaced after 7 or so months off the grid, traveling through Latin America, an extension of a unique long-time lifestyle that's become his signature. One of stand-up's great provocateurs, known for specials like Jew, Shaffir's greatest contribution to comedy would have to be his nearly 2 decades working on long-form storytelling shows like Comedy Central's iconic This Is Not Happening. Earlier this month, he teamed with YMH Studios to launch The End, the latest and final version of that format, featuring a stacked lineup of unforgettable stories from comics like Shane Gillis, Nate Bargatze, Tony Hinchcliffe, Roy Wood Jr., Tom Segura, and many more. Today, Ari gets into what's drawn him to storytelling shows all these years, why The End really is the end of that chapter, and what comes next. He also discusses his recent trip abroad and how his travels have shaped not just his stand-up, but his relationship to the business itself. Ari Shaffir, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You've just put out The End, which is supposedly the end of an experiment with like long-form storytelling that you've been working on in different variations for like over 20 years, right?
Close. 15 plus,
okay.
Let's say. Yeah.
How did this incarnation of things come together, and like why is it the end? And is it? It seems like a definitive, interesting to see you be so definitive about kind of winding something down.
Well, I started the show 2010, so 17 years, almost 20 years. You started a show at the Improv, small show, me and Eric Abrams. We're just like, let's put on a show together. He was like the assistant booker to Joel Bashkoff. And I didn't have anything going on, so I was like, let's just do a show of psychedelic drug stories. That'd be fun. And nobody showed up, but the lineup was really good. Marin was there and Diaz, but they weren't known like that.
Yeah.
Marin was like, I think from like Air America.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, it was like before, I think it was kind of before his
WTF
podcast.
even?
I think so. I don't know, 2010. Pretty close. Yeah, it was just fun. Like, just keep doing it. But anyway, I loved it. And it got bigger and bigger. We kept doing it all the time. It was so good. They were like, let's do it again. Mm-hmm. And then we did it more and more. And the bigger comics wanted to do it. Got moved to the real room of the Improv, and then started going to festivals. And then a bunch of TV came calling. More festivals, kind of toured all over Scotland and Australia and Vancouver and, you know, all over the States. It was just hella fun. I don't know how much in the business you are, but
yeah.
Well, I didn't get to finish off the show the way I wanted to. So I was just like a bad taste. I'd love to end things correctly. It's fine, you know, but not incorrectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to do like one last show at the Comedy Works, and there's some heckler like, all right, fucking add a show then. I don't want that one to be our last one, you know? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I wanted to do it, but you couldn't do it. But the industry changed in those 7 years since it got stolen from me. Yeah. Since it got blackmailed out. And then, you know, it's more power in our hands now. So luckily COVID gave me time to think. I'm like, oh, maybe I can like actually get this going again.
So they really took the show away from you just for saying that you were taking a special to Netflix?
Well, not for saying it, for doing it. Yeah.
But still, that's kind of wild, right?
Dude, this is the industry. Yeah, it's very wild. Netflix Comedy Central was at, nobody even knows this. They were they're just losing their hold, but everyone kind of remembers themselves for like the middle of themselves or the 90th percentile even. So they were down, but they were still thinking of themselves from like a year or two ago. You know, I mean, Blockbuster didn't care about Netflix. And they're like, well, just drop shipping stuff.
That must have been really early for Netflix.
Yeah. And then they started like sending stuff, and Blockbuster was like, whoa, what? And Netflix never opened a brick and mortar. Yeah. But they just took them down. And then they started doing documentaries. Comedy Central didn't care. HBO didn't care. You know, they're like, whatever. They're just sending old DVDs of documentaries and old like TV shows. Who cares?
Right.
And then it killed them both, really. But Comedy Central HBO rolled with it. Comedy Central did not roll with it. Like, we're still the dominant force. And I was on there and I was like, I saw the winds turning. I was like, no, everyone's watching the other one. It's not even like it's about to. It's like it had already been there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I made my own special. Comedy Central gave me these notes on my special I did with them. They, like 2 weeks before I recorded, they go, hey, your closer, you can't do it. And I'm like, why? They're like, it's describing this is going to sound awful, the smell of a vagina, and that we can't have that. And I'm like, what's that? I mean, there's no S&P things.
That was Comedy Central?
That was Comedy Central. So they're like, yeah, we've decided that's like, it's not just so much describing it, it's when you add smell. They have all these rules that I'm like, none of this goes into me bringing comedy to a club.
And that was the whole experience of that show, working with them?
No. This was my special before.
Oh, I see.
And then I did at the Comedy Store, which we didn't have the money to do specials on our own. So I just scramble and change my clothes. If I had another month, I already thought of a better way to close. But I just made a decision. I was like, hey, I don't want to let not even some suit, just like not me, decide what I'm allowed or not allowed to do. It's up to me.
Right.
You know? And if people go, it's not going to be good, I'm like, it's my decision. It's a fountainhead, my work, my way, you know? So I was like, all right, from now on, I'm just going to make my own. I'm going to make my own. I'll figure out what to do with it. I had a big talk with my agents and manager, a bunch of Jews. One of them is not a Jew, I guess, but he plays in the Jew arts. And,
So sorry, the special was before or after this is not happening when you were
the
involved?
special was with it. So it was, this not having kept going.
Okay, yeah.
And then I did another special, but I was like, I'm not letting anyone decide. So I'll do it on my own. And I talked with them in Montreal. And I go, hey, I'm going to pay for this. And they go, that's crazy. No one does that. You're not wealthy. And I go, listen, if it doesn't work, I think I can get my money back. Someone will buy it. But, you know, if not them, then I'll put it on iTunes and I'll make like 10% of it back, 5% of it back. And then the experiment didn't work and I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Yeah.
And then they made me an offer on it, which I was like, I don't know, because it was like the money was fine, but like it was a double special, and they were like, we're gonna put one of them up. I'm like, there's no one of them. It's a double special. It's not two specials. It's a double. It's like there's like 2 40-minute halves.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like HBO. I wanted something like linear TV, so YouTube or something streaming.
Yeah.
And Netflix had the power to do that, so I went away. So Netflix was only doing stuff after I shot with celebrities, massive celebrities. Robbie was trying to totally redo the Netflix comedy.
Yeah.
And he did. And I asked him before, you know, then he was like, we're only doing stuff with massive people. Fair. And then I went backpacking through Southeast Asia for like 4 or 5 months. And I came back and I was having a walk with him. But the day before, we're like friends from a long time ago. And the day before I was like, wait, Ryan Hamilton has a special? Like, I love Ryan, but like not a celebrity like that, not a massive. And then the Lucas brothers, those are the two I remember. I'm like, okay, these are people in my category.
Right.
I mean, definitely not in terms of like wit. Ryan's like well past that, but like, but just in terms of like draw, like we're in that middle range, you know, not massive. So I was like, dude, are you not? He goes, no, I redid the people's thoughts of Netflix comedy, and now I can open it up again.
Right.
And I was like, well, I got a special. And he goes, I thought you sold it. I didn't sell it. They made an offer. My agents were like, cool, that works for us, but it didn't work for me. I never signed anything. And I guarantee if I had put out some tweet about gays, they would have been like, hey, we didn't sign anything, so we're not doing it. So I was like, yeah, dude, do it with me. So I did it with Netflix. And then I was about to shoot another 2 seasons of the show. And then my reps, it was so dumb. My manager was like, we should tell Comedy Central before you were. I'm like, that seems like a mistake. That seems like they're going to be mad about it. Like, no, it's the right thing to do. They lost their minds. They just lost a big executive to Netflix from Comedy Central like the week before.
Oh,
so
wow.
they're feeling extra like, what the fuck? It's tough when you're like an athlete and you're like, maybe I won't be the man anymore in the team.
Right.
LeBron's sort of going through that now. You know, maybe it's not right. Maybe it's running through Doncic now and not me. And it's like, how are you going to deal with that?
Yeah.
You know, Patrick Ewing by the end was like, I'm a bench player and I'm here to coach these new young centers. And if you can't accept that, if you think you're the man, that it won't work.
Right.
And Comedy Central couldn't figure it out. So they lost it and they go, okay, we're pretty much like, you're going to shoot like in a week. We're going to cancel the whole thing. All your staff will be out of work with a week to go. Good luck. Oh yeah.
Really?
Dude, straight threats.
Wow.
Good luck paying their rent. How are they going to find work? They were counting on this work for months. They're going to be out of work. All those comics that were going to get a break, they won't get that break.
Whoa.
What's worse though is like these people who helped you on your show for years and you got to know, they will not pay their rent because of this decision.
That's
crazy.
Extraordinary.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a nobody too at the time. I wasn't even a thick thing.
Couldn't you just take those and people and bring them to what you were doing though?
So I shot my own special.
Yeah.
My own stand-up special.
Right.
I was like, okay. And then they go, and I said, I've sold this to Netflix, not you guys.
Yes.
They were very mad. They go, this is hurting us. And I'm like, no, the special will bring, Netflix was huge back then.
Sure.
For stand-up now. Now it's whatever, comes and goes. But back then it was massive.
Yeah.
I mean, when the special came out, I was like the mayor of New York for 2 weeks. I mean, it was like, I was on bikes, people would stop and be like, oh, you're on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. I did another one later. It's nothing close. Nothing's close to that now. Like it was in 2014 to 2018. It was a different thing. It was, everybody was watching Netflix comedy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was wild. It was really like what I heard the Tonight Show was like in the Carson days.
Wow.
But anyway, so then I had This Is Not Happening. I had this TV show. And there was like, we're going to shoot 2 seasons at once. Now we're not. You're fucking people over if you do this. Or we can replace you too.
I see. Yeah.
And I was like, it doesn't have to go this way. The special is going to promote the show.
Right.
And they were like, they literally said, we don't see it that way. We see it as our show promoting a Netflix special.
I see.
And I'm like, guys, you're on it Friday at midnight
and so
with no chance to watch it again.
So then you just backed away and let Roy Wood Jr. just...
They went to a lot of people. It was it was so contentious. And then Joe Rogan, who was already pretty big, he goes, I'll host for free if that'll help you. I'm like, yeah, that might help. And they go, no. And then it was like, what about if we do a Bert,
but why didn't they want Joe? Because
I suggested it. Wow. For free. Yeah. I'm like, so you have no cost and a bigger person? No. What about Henry Rollins? No. He did a story on the show. What about Ali Sadiq? No. They're like, first of all, no, we want diversity. I'm like, what about Ali Sadiq? And they go, no. Yeah, anyone I suggested, it pretty became apparent. We're not doing anything you want. They went to a few people, Pete Davidson, and he was like, story? I can't even read. What are you talking about? And a lot of people just said no. I think TJ also. I stopped suggesting people. And then they asked Roy, he had a across the board deal with Comedy Central. And he was like, hold on. And he called me. He goes, what's going on? Mm-hmm. I go, what'd you say? He goes, I didn't say anything. I'm like, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah. So
I told him, I was like, they're going to fire everybody if they don't find somebody in the next, it's like 6 days out. Mm-hmm. At this point, they were looking. Kind of the show always went like, let's cast Will Ferrell and then go down. And I'm like, can I just book someone I know is going to be on? Roy's like, what should I do? It's up to you.
It was so interesting to hear you talk about it in the end with him.
Oh yeah.
And reminisce about that.
Yeah, exactly. So we did a story about
him feeling weird about it and trying to deal with a weird situation the best he could.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, it's cool. I remember telling him, I was like, hey, so they're stuck. Make them green light a script or something. Yeah. Force their hand on something. They need you. There was a time when South by Southwest got caught with no women on the comedy lineup, just oversight or whatever. I don't know. And they're like, somebody pointed it out, like, oh, fuck. And then they started going to the women, like, hey, we'd love to have you. And Chelsea Birdie's like, yeah, I asked for $10,000 for a free festival. They're like, what? She goes, I know why they were asking me. There was a news story. They need women. It wasn't like it was 2 months ago. It was right now. I was like, yeah, do it. That's the only way to save people's jobs. The only way to save people's comedy spots. And a lot of people canceled. But then some people, like my friend Ryan O'Neal, these other people, I'm like, no, dude, do it. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Don't not do it for me.
So this whole incident was very defining in terms of how you think about your business.
Yeah, I mean, I already said I don't want to work with networks.
Okay.
I'd already shot my special on my own for this reason. And I'm like, you don't own me. Mm-hmm. You didn't give me money ahead of time. I made it on my own. Yeah. You could have, at the end of the other special, said, okay, we're locking you up. Those are all possibilities. They didn't. Yeah.
Where's the origin of the interest in sort of this storytelling format of stand-up?
We just had, comics have done it. I think it was when I saw guys like Jay Larson doing a bit about a crank call. And I'm like, this is kind of the new, the musical closer used to be the closer. Doing a song at the end. It was hacky, but it was the thing to make people go, oh my God, at the end. And I was like, no, these long stories are it's the new musical closer, but much more interesting to me. Yeah, so I was like, me and Eric were talking about just trading mushroom stories at his house once, back and forth. And then I was like, I reminded of a Nick Kroll story that was told to somebody else about being on mushrooms. Like, dude, everybody's got these in comedy. This will be fun. Yeah. And they were a lot of fun, and they're more real than a bit. Bits are fine, puns are fine, but this is so kind of real. It's interesting. You're at the edge. When you watch Ali Sadiq, you're just leaning forward, watching him. It's so...
He was here sitting in your seat and with me, and it was one of the most influential things of his entire career because he seemed to pop off after the story on your platform.
He's the biggest success story of the show because it was I didn't know who he was. He had won a diversity. He's a Houston comic. Mm-hmm. We don't come in, LA had this thing we're the best. New York had this thing correctly that they're the best. I'm sure London thinks they're the best. Austin thinks I'm the best too, which is so funny. But so it's like I'm tall and I'm standing next to like Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain. And they're like, no, you're tall for you guys. Yeah, but these people had no place.
Yeah.
If you had a bunch of one-liners, late night talk shows are perfect. They're like, we don't like this one. I'm like, I'll take that out, put another one in. It's okay. Real stuff, Miss Pat and him, there's just no place for it. Yeah, Miss Pat, we had like, get real, Miss Pat, be yourself. She goes, no, and she was putting on airs all the time.
Yeah.
And then Eric was like, no,
man,
be yourself.
She's so funny.
So yeah, with Ali, it was like he wants some diversity thing, and we're looking for diversity, not for like at the cost of good, but
because that was a mandate. You mean?
No, it was a self-mandate.
Okay.
And it wasn't like I need this many black people, this many white people. I wanted like different experiences. I want some poor people, some rich people, some good-looking people, some ugly people. You know, I want someone who's been arrested. Some people, you know, just like different. What do they call it? Diversity of experience.
Yeah,
and it's not based on this color. They get it wrong. They're doing it too easy.
Sure.
You know, checking boxes. That's not it. That's not what we're talking about.
Right. That's true.
What does it matter if they're black or white? I'm relating to the heroin addiction. You know.
Right.
That's how I feel, and so I was doing it for what I wanted. So anyway, but I did want some, and we had these internet only bookings. Eric's idea was like, instead of booking 24 comics for 8 episodes, let's book 20, and then we'll book 10 or 12 up and comers, and say you're only booked for internet versions because the show started on the internet. And then we're like, let's do.
Are you talking about for this?
This is not happening.
Okay.
Started on the internet first, and then Comedy Central's like, all right, we'll put it on TV.
I see. Yeah.
So we had 24 spots. But he goes, let's do 20, and then we just have the room. So let's film 10 more of these up-and-comers. And we say, we'll promise you internet. We can't promise you TV.
Yeah.
We'll pay you internet money. And then we have 4 spots of the 10, whatever comics who like crushed. We're moving 4 of you up. So we don't have to commit to anybody who's an up-and-comer who might not, cover the spread.
Yeah.
And Ali was one. It was like, we don't know him, so okay.
He went just to the internet.
No, he was booked for just the internet.
Yeah.
But then we saw that story, and we're like, obviously, you're our first pick. You're in on TV.
Yeah.
Now we got to get 3 others. And I forget who else they were.
Wow.
And then the next year, they're like, let's have Ali back. And Comedy Central, that's how dumb they were. They're like, let's get Ali for the internet one again. And I'm like, guys, you're out of your mind. That was one of the best stories ever told on a recording. It's probably my favorite of the whole run of anyone we recorded.
Wow.
And you're gonna put him back into the minor league again and say, prove yourself? That's like, no, he just did. He proved himself.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm sorry they said that to you. 100% you're on TV to start with. Do whatever you want. You're way better than I am. I'm not gonna try to even like guide you. I'll go over it with you if you want as a friend, but like, and then he was off to the races. He was building stuff himself.
With the end, these are all your friends or mostly?
Let's see.
You've got, again, a great diversity of comics, all murderers. I was
friends or people I know.
Yeah.
Like Jessa, I'm friendly with.
Yeah.
But like, it depends on your
definition.
Depends on your right, exactly.
Sure.
I wouldn't be invited to a wedding.
Yeah.
But if I was at an airport and she was there, I'd be like, Jessa, what's up?
She wouldn't look the other way.
Right, exactly. Which I've had so many times. So many autistic people in comedy. Yeah, people are like, do you know Jessa? I go, no, that's a friend of mine. And she'd say the same thing. So yeah, they're all my friends, but we're also friendly now.
Sure.
Because podcasts have really kicked off since then.
Yeah.
So.
I was just listening to your Tuesdays with Stories, and it was really interesting to me to hear about your process in terms of like, because I wondered like, how do you vet the stories? How do you just like bring in people you love and say, do what you want? It sounds like you really have a hands-on role with everybody. Can you talk about sort of like, I guess, vetting stories and then like helping people shape them for this project?
Yeah, I mean, I've done this the same way I always did it. So like people's specials I'll produce. That's the wrong word. I'm trying to find another word for what I do.
I think that's right. You're
producing's like hiring camera guys, hiring lighting guys.
Yeah. Creative producing.
What?
Creative producing.
Yeah, maybe creative producing. Yeah, I'm going over the material with them.
Yeah.
And then going like, okay, so how are we going to prepare? Let's take 6 months. What clubs are you doing? What's your order of clubs? Let's change this and change that. And then running the room, setting up chairs, because I'm like, these chairs aren't set up right for like a comedy audience. But with the stories, it was always like, well, one, I had to see a story. So like Jeff Dye had one that he told. We had a comedians basketball league here in LA. The Improv had a team, Factory, Store, and then there's a team of agents called the Corporate Sellouts. our team is called Sean Kemp's Kids.
Oh my God.
It was fun. Me, Jeff Dye, Adam Ray, Renazizi. Who else is on our team? I forget now. Anyway, Jeff, we're just waiting to play a game, and he's telling me the story about him and stealing a fucking jersey off a wall of Mike Vanderjagt in like Key West or something at Vanderjagt's bar. It was his all-star jersey. And then Vanderjagt found him and, wanting to get it back. And they go, no, we're not giving it back. And he goes, God, I'll call the cops. And then they go, if we hear the cops, we're going to burn your jersey. and they're like, what? And he goes, you'll go to jail. And he goes, I'll be out. Your jersey's not worth much. He goes, I'll do a day or two in jail and the story will be worth it for me. He just went hardball on him. And it was like, so what do you want? He goes, I want to take a bunch of pictures and have fun with it, and I'll send it to you in a week. Or whatever it was. I forget exactly the story. But I was like, hey, can you do that on my show? I think it was the internet only when we were still before TV. And he goes, yeah, okay. I'm like, I heard a story. It made me die laughing. It made all of us laugh. That's the kind of story. Oh, tell them that story about when we went to Portugal. That kind of shit, Yeah. And then other people I didn't know as well. I'm like, can you record it in front of an audience? Or can you tell me?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people had stories and they weren't stories.
Yeah, exactly.
It was bits and they didn't know what it was.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious about. Is like, how do you differentiate also like what is a story for a dinner party or whatever, or telling with buddies when you're drinking versus something that you can unspool like that for.
Yeah, like take your time with it. I was very adamant that the time limits were not real. So people were like, how long should this story be? When we did them live at the Improv or wherever, and I was 5 to 15. It was 5 minutes to 15 minutes. Like, I don't want to, don't tell a 1 minute story. But honestly, if you do, that's fine. Like Neil Brennan was like, I got three 3-minute stories. I'm like, fine, yeah,
and
fine.
you let Shane and Dan come up and do
they really wanted
story.
to. And I was like, okay.
Was that their nerves about doing it solo, or they were just like?
Well, Dan was like, dude, the last time I did it, I practiced for a year, working out all the tweaks and like every little detail of it. Like, I don't want to just like half-ass something. You need to like learn what your callbacks are going to be and like the jokes in there. And yeah, they know each other really well. So they're like, we want to do it together. I'm like, yeah, okay. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun. And they played off each other. And we've done that on live shows too, and this is not happening, where it was like Don Marrero was like, be on stage with me. And I was like, okay. And so I'd be asking him questions and feeding the story as if he's telling it to a person. I'd be like, wait, who was that person? I'm like, oh, okay, so that was that girl's sister. I'm like, oh, okay, keep going.
You seem really good at mapping things out. I was watching, again, like you on podcast recently, and you're showing the whole journey, and like you've got all the little points on the map for this big trip.
Yeah.
And it seems like
it's autism, buddy. Good with maps.
I was curious about that in relation to like building something like this, like how you think about what your process is.
Yeah, so you want certain things, you want certain like. Yes, but so like, I go to people's their story. I'm like, hey, tell me a story. Like, and some of them are like, that's just not good enough.
But what about for you? Like
for me too, same thing. But I'll work. I know how to work mine. But then certain people like Joey Diaz, I'm like, well, so you're one of the best in the world at this. You're far better than I am. Some of the new comics, I'm like, you're not far better than I am. We're in the same kind of range.
Sure.
So I'm like, let me help you with it, just comic to comic. But definitely not as a representative of a network saying you can say this, you can't say that.
Right.
I can just say, hey, to me, this wasn't clear. To me, this was really punching hard here. I love this part, but I don't know. I know what happened to that character. You never went back to him. Shit like that. Sorry, stuff like that. I know there's AM.
No.
I'm joking. I know it's not AM.
Anytime day on YouTube.
Anyway, so I'd go over some stuff with some people, and other people, I'm like, you're on your own. But if you need help, I'm here to help. And I'd go down to comedy clubs and like Doug Smith. I watched him like so many times, like going over the material. Louis Katz. A lot of my friends like, hey, watch this. Tell me what you think. And I'm like, the ending kind of dies. So then you would go to people and then you get agents and managers in the way. Like there's a few people went to for this one that I'm like, are you offering my client the thing? I'm like, no, I want to see if he has a story. And they go, he's big.
So yeah, I go,
that's interesting. Listen, I get it, but I'm not just here to put on celebrities.
This is the White Lotus method. I don't know if you know about that with the HBO show. It's like it's huge stars, but they assemble this huge ensemble and they pay everyone like scale or something. Like they pay everybody the same.
Interesting, yeah.
And they somehow have to circumvent the egos of the industry. Like that seems like similar to what happened here. Like
payment for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like some of these guys, lawyers.
Yeah.
They're like, are you out of your mind? You want, I don't know if I should say who, but like, they're like, these are arena comics.
Right.
And you want him getting what fucking Colum Terrell is, some guy who's about to get deported? Like, no way. That's crazy. And I'm like, I know. But I've talked to your client. He wants to do it.
Yeah.
And if he needed to get half the show, we can't do it. And there's 5 people who could ask for like, 30% of the show just for them. So then we can't do it.
Right.
And they want to do it. A lot of these guys, like Shane was like, no, when I started comedy, I wanted to do this not happening. And then it went away. So I was aimless.
So you have to somehow navigate with the reps, despite the fact, even if
It's
the
always been
talent
that
is on
way.
board.
It's always been that way. I had to book Norman as a local hire in LA because we couldn't union rules, fly him out and put him up. We would have. We didn't have the budget for it. But I wanted Norman to do it. So I just called Norman myself instead of calling his up. I was like, hey, I can get you on this if you're going to be in LA on March 13th through 20th. Can you be there? And that's before anything was going on. He goes, yeah, I'll stay with a friend. I'll do a trip out there once a year anyway. I'm like, all right, do that.
Yeah.
And then I'll book him as a local. The rep comes back, goes, no. SAG rules. You got to get him first class ticket and this. And then I go, no. He said he's going to be in town.
Did that apply to this, even though it's like self-released?
No, this,
Okay.
no. This, no. But I'm saying on this not happening. You just have to work around the system.
Sure.
To get it done. And he's like, I'm like, hey, if you need the first class ticket, it's fine. I can't book you.
Right.
And he goes, no, I want to do the show. So I'll just be in town.
So why was that ethos important to you that everyone shares equally?
It's like we're all doing it. So we're all in the profits, the comics are splitting up kind of evenly. Even Nate was like, you don't have to pay me for this. I'm like, no, you have to get your share or it doesn't work. It can't be charity. You have to take your share. I know that's like, I don't know, it's just filling up.
Drops in the bucket
yeah,
for him.
Exactly. It's filling up one of your yachts for gas, but like you got to take it. And he's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's equal in this and we're all just getting it done.
Yeah.
Tom paid for the rest of it. I used all my money to pay for it. Tom, that wasn't enough. And Tom's like, I'll kick in the rest. Because there was a big show for Tom.
Yeah.
This is not happening. It was a big show for Tom.
How long ago did you do this? Because I heard about it a while ago. And it was a year ago.
Yeah. And then I went traveling for 8 months. So then it was kind of on hold.
That's wild.
I edited before I left and we did the sound and color after.
You've gotten back like 70% or more of your budget?
The budget's back already.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they've really figured something out, right?
Yeah, I asked Duncan about it. I was like, hey, I'm doing this. I'd love to have you on. And he goes, what are you putting out? I'm like, I think I'm going to self-release this. And he goes, oh, the new model. I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Sometimes I would talk with Duncan and I'll say something. He goes, you were meditating. I'm like, no, I was just thinking. He goes, buddy, trust me. I'm a huge Buddhist. What you were doing was meditation. But he was like, the new model. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And he's like, direct to consumer. Let them support high level stuff without any censors or without anybody that might down the road blackmail you out of your own show. Right. Like, why even get into it? I don't trust this. This city has not filled me with trust.
Sure.
So let me just handle it. Yeah, everybody's on board. It's cool. Yeah, but budget's back. We're already making money.
That's incredible.
Yeah, comics. Now, so they all did it for like $500 in a flight and a hotel, and now they're all starting to make money.
Yeah, I've talked to Tom before, but I would love to talk to him and Ryan Hall because I'm just like, I want to hear more. But like, what could you share about like your experience with them and like seeing what they're doing? You also have a podcast with them, and they've been doing that for a while. Like I was watching their live shows during the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah, right. So so Tom's like, dude, I have the platform set up, so we don't have to go to Moment House and give them 20% of it, or iTunes just take 30%. Like we have the platform.
Do you feel like it was like Louis C.K. was the originator of this sort of
for sure.
particular thing?
But also the YMH lives.
Yeah.
Pandemic hit. Louis C.K. would do stuff, but it wasn't like live streaming. It was like I'm selling direct to consumer, but so that was definitely one origin. And then those YMH lives.
It's really cool to think that can really work that well, like where you've already sold major budget back.
It has to be really good, and it has to be people they know, because you're not going to take it. This is how Edinburgh works. The free fringe, more people go to free fringe shows than paid fringe shows of like Stuart Lee, because they're like, well, I got to take a chance on 20 pounds. And I don't know if I have it, especially if it's, Stuart Lee, that's a bad example. Stuart Lee can do it because they know his name. From when I went there, they're like, I don't know your name well enough to spend 12 pounds on a ticket knowing it might be good.
I think it's a real
But I'll give you 20 when I leave after I did see it. So it's the free fringe. I'm like, hey, if you liked it, they're like, here's 20.
Yeah.
Because that was worth it.
It's just interesting because it's like, I would think it's hard to get people to pay for something like this just because like they're used to just having a streaming service.
They're used to having everything free.
It's the cost of like a streaming service and you just get everything.
Yeah, you paid for Netflix, you paid for YouTube Premium, but now that you paid for it, now everything's free.
Right.
So Comedy Central used to be free. Sure, you pay for cable, but you had already paid for cable. This is a new purchase.
Yeah.
It's difficult. But also like, this is like...
It's so cool.
This is like... Some of it was Schultz did it too. It's like, hey, let's take back power from the people taking power from
Right.
The ones you really want to watch.
Right.
Which is the comics.
Right.
Nobody really want to watch Netflix or HBO. I want to watch Euphoria.
The most.
And if Euphoria swapped to Netflix, they'd swap with them.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, well, I'll never watch again.
Right.
You know? So it's like, yeah, so this is like one of those things that they're like, one, it's almost like, give me the charity just to get my show back. But then on top of that, you're getting the best show that was made this year.
It's incredible. Yeah. Tell me about your thoughts on like just money now, like monetization. Like you've had, it was talking to Rob Greenwald, one of your publicists, about this like a while ago. Like you were one of the few people who had a special, I think, to debut on YouTube, and then it was going, and then they took it to another place, like
Netflix.
It went to Netflix.
Yeah.
What is your attitude towards streamers when it's like you can just do self-release and make that work for you?
I play it year by year or project by project, so I'm not really like David Tell used to call Louis Katz a Ronin because he had no master. He's like his own guy. He never really was an opener for anybody. Mm-hmm. I've never really in anywhere like that. Everything I got, it was kind of clawing my way in, having to have a talk with Robbie, like, come on, man, I haven't signed, please. And I was like, oh yeah, man.
For JFL or?
For JFL, they were always like, no, absolutely not.
Netflix.
You can't do new faces for Netflix. But JFL's another example. They're like, no. They're like, at some point, they're like, you're too old. You're 36. And then
You never did JFL?
Not new faces.
Wow.
But then they would say, you're 36. That's too old. And then that year, I'm like, Duncan and Brendan Walsh, both 36 went. And I'm like, just say you don't like me. Just give me the real. I can obviously check the ages of my friends. And then I took my dick out on a show with Rogan in Montreal, like in January. And they're like, oh, we'd love to have you for the Nasty Show. So I got in that way. But it wasn't like the reps are going, he's in, you're taking him.
Yeah.
You know those people, those industry darlings. I just never was one.
Sure.
To get into even like Yuck's chains in Canada, my agent had to be like, bill me as like the dirtiest comic of all time to like get past their like, we don't have dirty comics thing. Mm-hmm. It was just never really easy. And then getting it on there, I'm like, come on, dude, just do it. He's like, well, they know I'm your friend, so that won't go on The Office. Is it different? I'm like, it's a double special. I'm like, all right, we don't have any double specials. All right, that's what I'll use to like pitch you. But it's always like, maybe we can do it. And then Comedy Central didn't want to do. I did one of my own from some like internet place. Me and Maria Bamford did one, and then they went under. I bought it back, and then Comedy Central was like, they were making fun, like, look at these idiots doing their own specials. And then they bought that one. So this is the second one that I did somewhere else that's then gone to one of the networks.
That's crazy.
But anyway, I don't know what it's going to be like. So my last one, Jew, I was like, no, I'm doing this on YouTube. I think I can get my money back on donations and ticket sales at the show itself. And like an ad revenue on YouTube, it's not much. It's really not much ad revenue, especially if you want to chop it up the whole way through and interrupt. It's like you're like one at the beginning, one at the end, and that's it. But I was like, I think I do it. And I want people to see it. And I thought YouTube at the time was like the way to do it, and it was. And then my next special, YouTube started getting kind of censory, so then that platform is like not as trustworthy. And so then I called Netflix. I was like, all right, I have another special I made. Do you want that? But it was still an uphill battle.
Yeah.
It was still like, well, maybe, let's see.
So if it works for you, great. If not,
exactly. I'm not in bed with them, then I'm in bed with me. We work together sometimes. It's like that chick you fuck once in a while. She's not asking you to fucking take her out to dinner, and you're not taking her out to dinner.
Well, tell me more about what you were saying with streaming in relation to comedy. Like, where do you see it now?
Do you understand the metaphor? We're both coming at each other. We're both having orgasms.
Yeah. That's a good one. You were talking earlier about like, there was a golden age of Netflix stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
What is it now? And what is comedy in this world of like entertainment, like professional, like, or paid streaming services? Like, how do you see that?
Yeah, there's no more boom launch unless you are in a underrepresented market. Mm-hmm. So an Indian comic could hit big.
Sure.
Could go from 0 to 60 pretty fast. A Robbie Hoffman type.
Right.
That special will be really good. It has to be good. It can't be half-assed. It has to be good to great. And then if it is good to great, then it's launched you. Even
that doesn't explain their mandate to me, because I'm like, they've given Mark Norman multiple specials. They haven't given Joe List one. Why? They're both
I don't know
equally,
if Joe's going to them.
They're both excellent.
Well, they really book on size of name, that's why I understand. I had one time I was opening for Rogan in Nashville, and Dorfman, now running like Outback, Rogan always tried to get me into these clubs. And Nashville wasn't that big. It was 275. The 400 seaters, like, I'm not even trying. You're a middler. But some of the smaller ones, it's like, I could maybe get in there and headline on my own. And Rogan always pushed, like, hey, how come Ari's funny, right?
Yeah.
You've seen him all week. Maybe give him a week. And Dorfman was just honest. He goes, bro, I love you, man. You're really funny, but I'm running a business.
Yeah.
And Rogan sells 240 tickets out of the 275, and the other 35 just get by the, the city.
Right.
You'll sell 10. And that's not a way to run a business. He goes, as soon as you get a draw, of course you can play here.
Yeah.
You're filthy, but I love it. It's fine. But I need you to have a draw.
Yeah.
And that's what Netflix is. Like, I need to know you're going to come see this.
Yeah, exactly. That the onus on you now for some reason.
I wish it was 1 and 1, one
Right.
and 1, 1 and 1, because then you're like, well, you can build up stars.
It's the
Ali
same with
Wong
actors
was
now.
not big. Tom Segura
Yeah.
was not big when they were on a network.
Right.
Bill Burr, not big.
Right. But it doesn't
made
seem
them
like
big.
Yeah, that it seems like we should get back to doing that.
Absolutely. I think they've all gone too far the other way where now it's like, it's going to be a failure.
I'm sure you have no good feelings about Comedy Central, but like
Nobody even knows what they are. It's like saying, I had weed in my hand. I saw a cop. I got worried. People are like,
Yeah.
why would you get worried?
but they played a big role in the ecosystem, right? That's
they
that's
were
vanished.
huge. I was upset when they
And-
left. It was a
and
good
now-
opportunity for comics.
And now it's like not even Netflix and Hulu are making those verified stand-up kind of specials, it seems like. So
no. They're doing as
isn't
much
that-
as they can of like, Netflix is like, we'll do an acquisition as much as we can.
you
A few
don't
big
you
ones.
don't you have don't tell and things, but like isn't it worse for the ecosystem if some of these
Okay,
things
yeah.
go
So
away?
there's both ways. So there's like you say golden age. So the golden age either is you can do a special and get launched,
Totally.
But who can do a special? 2% of us not
Yeah.
able to make one.
The mandate is so funny when I talk to people because it's like even David Cross could not get
Right.
them interested. They're like, don't care. And I was like, really? Like you've been doing this for so many years. You've had such an accomplished.
I know, but there's so many people and there's 52
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
It's not that one and boom, boom. But even when that was happening, us, all the Comedy Store guys, we were on the outside looking in. We're like, I wish we could get an opportunity. Wish one of us talented people could get an opportunity. But we couldn't get the opportunity.
Yeah.
So it was great golden age for the people who were in. But the people who were not in,
Yeah.
if you hadn't won an Edinburgh fucking prize, then no, we had no chance.
Yeah.
So it wasn't golden age for us at all. By the time I got on Comedy Central, the Tosh and Gaffigan days of launching off of top, those were done. It was just like, you get, 10 extra sales a week.
Yeah.
Ticket sales. So, but what it is a golden age for is that so many percentage of comics can go out and make a living.
Yeah.
And that's was never done before. It was a
Right.
few guys making millions, a few more guys getting by, and then everyone else with day jobs. And now there's 1,000 comics who get by on stand-up, get to just commit to stand-up, work on their craft, and just like get better. So on that level,
That's
it's
amazing.
100% the golden age.
Yeah.
If you can just go do your first special on YouTube and get maybe 50,000 views, which sure a failure for me, but for a new kid, like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now maybe a club might have me. And now I'm like, oh, cool. Now I'm doing an hour instead of 15. So now I'm getting better. And my next special will get 200,000, then maybe 1 million. Who knows? But Ali Sadiq, he's never done one on any of those places. He's doing an arena.
Right. Right.
So like, what are we talking about? Russell Peters didn't. He did arenas. Like, it's not necessary. Or Jeff R. Curry types, those people, Josh Johnson, they're all on their own doing it.
Yeah.
That wasn't possible before. Josh Johnson was just like, I'm just going to do my own thing. And then I saw him, I was like, oh, you're doing the more? I'm playing the more like the week after you. He goes, well, I'm doing a full week of them. It's like, oh, I'm doing one and we're not adding a show. Okay. Wow, dude.
It's
so yes,
crazy.
it is the golden age, but
Yeah.
just not by the curators.
Yeah.
The troubling thing is if I'm at home going, who should I watch? There's
I know. Even
with articles, news articles, or like think pieces, also no curator. So it's like, fuck, maybe a Substack, but like you have to trust people.
Yeah.
You need some curators.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like consciously go out and look because there's just so many great comics and you won't find, you got to really dig.
So I keep the ones I don't like off my show. And some people are good, but just like, you're not good for storytelling.
Yeah.
And some people just aren't good. And then also I had the problem of like, hey, I need to make the green room a good hang. And if you're a virus in the green room, even if I think you're funny, I can't have you.
Fair.
You know?
Well, let me hard pivot for a little bit. Like, can you tell me a little bit about who you were when you were beginning stand up? Like what your goals were, what kind of scene you came out of? Like, I'm just curious a little bit because I don't know too much about
I'd done level 5 groundlings and then come out of joking. I graduated college. Yeah, I lost my religion a few years ago before, kind of like Pete Holmes, but for him. And Kurt Metzger was a kind of recent convert the other way too. Yeah, so Pete Holmes, I saw him at a strip club at the Bridgetown Festival, and 50 comics filled up this place at like 2 p.m. And we were all having a good time. And Pete was just like, like, I can't believe this is so fresh, you know? And then the degenerate's like, what do you mean? Yeah, so I was still like, whoa. And then got a job at the Comedy Store immediately, which was the craziest like life training. I mean, they're the craziest people. This is the quote unquote dark years of the store.
Yeah, wow.
Where we didn't really have a crowd. The owner, who was so hands-on, was Alzheimer's slowly out.
Mitzi?
Coming less and less, yeah. And because of that, no one was giving us any feedback. And we were just, it was, what's the book with the conch? We had to blow the conch to be able to talk on the island. Well, the boys got trapped on the island.
Lord of the Flies?
Lord of the Flies. That's how it was.
Yeah.
We made our own rules.
Wow.
We enforced our own rules. It just became...
Was it fun?
Dude, I've never had as much fun as those years.
Yeah, I was so curious about what it's like to be a doorman, like, and what you're, or whatever, working the phones. And
yeah, we were all family.
Awesome.
All the comics respected the employees because half of them came from our jobs. Half of them still had their Comedy Store shirts, you know? So it was like, they're like, no, I mean, you suck, but like, you're not gone forever. So they're all very friendly. Ralphie was always like, oh, you're hella funny. I'm like, well, you walk by once at an open mic, see me do some hacky bit. But he was like, nah, dude, you're good. It was so fun. It was so fun. And I met all my best friends. Bobby Lee would give me advice. And like the best comics I knew were like giving me advice.
Yeah.
Asked for advice. I'm like, what do you do when you're like, you can't, you know, you have this problem and this problem on stage, or like you go off on a heckler, but the crowd turns on you. And like, I remember Rogan going, oh, it's because you're too observant. So you noticed that guy was probably a douchebag. You went off on him too early. The crowd didn't know. So you got to sometimes you got to let people dig their own hole. I'm like, oh, good technique. Okay, that's great. I'm taking advice from a high level A club headliner at the time.
Were you bombing a lot when you started?
Yeah.
I was interested to hear you talk in research on like about anxiety and stuff, because I feel like you portray this total confidence and you'll go anywhere. You'll go to the furthest extremes, which is awesome.
Still nervous though when I do it.
So
it's not like I'm going in confidently.
Did you have a tolerance for bombing, or was that terrible?
It sucked. It always sucked. But it wasn't, when we started though, all of us, we weren't like, maybe here or there a couple, but most of us were just like, I'm not like trying to be a professional comedian. It still seems far-fetched.
Oh, really?
I just want to do it.
And see where it went.
I mean, it's like if you grew up in like Kansas City and you take a writing class, you're like, maybe I'll write a short story, but you're not like, I'm going to win a Pulitzer, you know, or I'm going to write 10 books. You're just like, I just want to get this short story out, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people just try open mics after their comedy class. I just want to do it once. And we did it more, and we did it all the time, like literally every single night. And we loved it, but it was years before we're like, I could do this as a living. Years. I mean, even before you even made $1, it was years.
Right.
And then like, oh, cool, I'm making a couple extra bucks. It's Uber money, you know, like driving Uber on the side kind of shit.
What was the moment it started clicking?
I booked a commercial, which was like adjacent to comedy anyway. It's same world actor.
You did some acting.
I did a ton of commercials.
I heard you auditioned for Sam Mendes. Is that right?
Maybe.
The director of like
Revolutionary Road?
Revolutionary.
Yeah, then I auditioned for him once,
that is crazy.
I don't know all the movies. I didn't know he did that in 1979, but I remember that movie, and I was like,
juxtaposition. So you were really going in for these like A-list?
No. Rarely, very rarely. I don't even remember that movie was. But Revolutionary Road, I think it had Leonardo DiCaprio. It wasn't huge.
Yeah.
It had that weird guy with the eyes that go back and forth all the time.
He's like one of the biggest. He's doing the 4 movies on the Beatles.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But I finished my audition and I was like, thanks. And I was like, wait, are you the guy that did? And it was like, yeah. I'm like, bro, you sent me into a 4-year depression. So yeah, barely any real acting stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Were there any other interesting stories out of that whole side of things?
I did one movie and I was so embarrassed by it, how shitty it was, that I was like really embarrassed by it. That kind of stuff. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. It was like bad.
Did you make decent money off of commercials?
Yeah. So that's the big break.
Yeah.
So then I wasn't worried about like paying my bills.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm good with money, you know, for whatever reason. I booked one commercial, a Kia commercial, paid great, like 40 grand over 2 years. It's inflation. That was pretty big. I could get by on that.
Sure.
I was already getting by on like 12 grand.
Yeah.
So 40 over 2 years, just that one. And then I booked like 3 months later a pizza commercial, and then it was off to the races.
Wow.
And I book a few a year on average, sometimes not for a year and a half. And I go, ooh, my money's going down. And then like 10. So I did a lot of them, but that let me just be a comedian.
Right.
So that was huge. There was a lot of huge things. Getting the job at the Comedy Store was the biggest. Joe Rogan saying, I want you to open for me consistently.
How do you become friends with him?
We were all friends at the Comedy Store.
You just made friends with everybody.
We were all
that worked
friends at
there.
the Comedy Store and enemies, but like we were all part of that clubhouse.
You were there, right? At them, and then
Yeah.
oh
Let's see,
wow, what was that
What
like?
a
I remember seeing
What
footage
a
of
night.
you like getting in on the confrontation and everything.
What a night. I mean,
an
this guy was
iconic-
abusing all of us for so long. We'd have a thing where you'd be on stage, you wouldn't know if he was there, you're like, I'm not going on.
Mm-hmm.
The rumors were he would sit in the back of the open mic with a notebook and like just write down jokes that he's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the old waitresses was like, no, she said he felt that these guys couldn't do these jokes right, and he was going to free the jokes from the contraption of them. It was bad, and we're like, I'm not going on if he's here. But then sometimes you'd be on, and she'd drive up in the parking lot. You wouldn't know. So we'd have to be like, give us a sign. We'd be like, so you'd be on stage for 5 minutes, and you're like, caw-caw. You're like, anyway, that's it for me, guys. Anyone want to go? I'm out. I saw high level comics get mad at the cover. Like, you gotta warn me, dude, if he's here. You can't just let me be up here.
Wow.
What the fuck? Yeah, real mad. When that happened, I remember calling Nick Youssef, my buddy. I was like, this is happening on my flip phone. Calling him, I was like, what? And he was in Los Feliz. And he goes, I'm coming. I'm like, okay. And he got there before the end of it. Like, he was like, I'm getting my car right now. It's Sean Polofsky. It's like, she's like quiet, not on stage, but she's a quiet, like, Jewy woman. Jewy's the wrong word. But anyway, she's in the back of my, fucking kill him! Kill him! This guy was a real problem for all of us.
Yeah.
And then it was like, we're having it out. This was really nice.
Are comics better to each other now?
Yeah,
It's
there's some
always kinda
repercussions. And also,
cutthroat,
like,
right?
we're actually the podcasting stuff really helped everyone become friendlier because we can all actually help each other. It's not just I can get one guy on my sitcom
Yeah.
and I have to have a sitcom to do it. It's I can have you on my podcast and launch you up. I'll do 1 a week, 2 a week, 3 a week. There's plenty of spaces. Rogan's always like, oh, that was really funny. Some open micer. Come on. Oliver Stone just canceled. You can take his spot. So the storytelling show actually really helped that. I had a thing of like, Comedy Store is good. Everyone else sucks. But then I started branching out to find people when I was doing the live shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, actually, there's a ton of comics who have a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. And I started to really appreciate like, LA comics are great. And then started to like, maybe New Yorkers are too.
How do you approach touring or doing the road? Like, how do you book yourself? Like, what does it look like? And what is the kind of general deal? Is it like, are you doing clubs or theaters? Like, and it
depends. I'm like right in between, but I also like to have fun. Mm-hmm. So there's some places where like the clubs are the best clubs and I don't want to not do them. So like the Denver Comedy Works is a good example. Like that's my favorite.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your favorite and least favorite places.
It's Denver Comedy Works. It's not close.
Yeah.
Even Rogan is like,
Everyone
the
says
Mothership's the best club. I'm like,
I got to see this.
I'm like second at tops.
It's
second
amazing
best.
that everyone agrees that what is that great about it?
It's low ceilings. I'm guessing what makes it great. I don't know. Low ceilings, brick, like stone walls where the laughter bounces, and a mixture of audience of like intelligent rednecks.
Interesting. So it's purely
they're
about
like
the vibe.
smart, laid back at the same time, and the build of the room.
What about least favorite?
I just don't go to them anymore. I don't know. So many.
Are there cities or areas you avoid or anything? Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
I hate it. They're all so vapid and gross.
Everyone seems to hate
The guys who work at the Miami Improv are cool. Those guys rule.
Yeah.
But the city is it's not not Florida. I love Jacksonville.
Okay.
I like Tampa. I love
It's a huge thing.
Tampa. I love. It's huge. You're right.
Yeah.
You can't lump it all in. That's how arguments start. But yeah, I try to go play. So Denver, I started doing so well that I'm like filled up all my added shows and selling those out. And there was no room left in the week. And like, you have to go to the Paramount. Mm-hmm. All my Jews were like, you got to go to the Paramount because that's just the path. You'll make that much money in one night. You can clearly sell out 2 shows in a night at the Paramount, the big theater there, or the mid-sized, small theater. Now that Shane's around, it's like he's making the Nuggets not play that week. But I was like, but I love the comedy work. So you're saying my success has made it so that I can't do my favorite club? Mm-hmm. And then I do the thing I do where I'm like, try to find a solution. So I go, can I do 2 weeks in a row? And then Wendy was like, yeah, people don't really do that. I was like, let me do 2 weeks in a row. So you do like 16 shows. You just like, and then have fun for longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the smartest and the worst business decision you've made?
Business decision? So that's, okay. So a long time, because I was so broke for so long at the Comedy Store, I stopped caring about money as my drive. So it's just not gonna, I've been broke and I've lived fine on it. So business decisions don't really matter that much. Saying no to this not happening in favor of a Netflix deal cost me more money than I currently have saved up.
So it was a big deal financially for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like, no, I want people to see my special. So, yeah. And also, no, you can't command me.
Right.
I almost went back to Southeast Asia. I was like, it's like, what's happening? What is happening? What are you guys all coming at me for? I was like, I'm going back to fucking Cambodia. Just like, this place sucks. LA sucks, dude.
Yeah.
The vibe here, it's all about, so what I care about, like the creative stuff and making stuff, and money is nice, it's quite the opposite here.
Yeah.
It's, oh, Grammy would be cool, but that's not what we're going for. Grammy's about an example. Emmy or Oscar, they'd be like, this one made so much money. This one, what was the box office? Box office? What a sellout thing to care about.
Yeah.
The box office.
I'm just interested in the wonky stuff. That's why I made this podcast, because I think it's the coolest job, like you say, ever. And it's like no one is looking at it the way I thought it should be looked at. And
we all look at it different.
Yeah.
On our side, we look at it differently,
Right.
So like if I can just make my money back on a project, I'm like, sick. That means I got to make a project for free.
Right.
I got to do something and like whatever. If I make more than that,
I'm also interested in what is working for people and how they navigate it, because it's like the people.
So there's that too. How much you going to be on the road? How much if you got a family? Dude, I've had over one hand's worth of millionaire comedians on the phone with me crying.
About what?
They're gone too much.
Okay.
Their life is not right. They work too much. And I'm like, what the dude, you're so rich. I would love to be a millionaire. You're so rich and you're crying. Then you got to admit, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
If you're doing these massive plays, we're all jealous,
really go
and you're
crazy.
crying, come on.
It was crazy when Tom Segura was on the road. It seemed like for 2 years straight going around. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and then he's like, that's
and then he's like, never again.
Yeah.
Like that's an extreme.
To do what? To try it once, okay, but
I mean, you're set after that. It's like, so you don't need to do it again. That's great. I want to talk about your travel stuff, because like that is some of the coolest stuff to me. So you've come back from this like 7-8 month trip through Latin America. Like also, where did this nomadic side of you come from? Was there one trip you went on when you were young that sparked an interest in travel, or?
Yeah, no, I actually, like, I'm way into nature, but like we had it when I grew up and I didn't appreciate it. And now I go back and I'm like, there's a green belt like right near my parents' house. You can actually walk out the backyard down a hill and like you're in a little hike that one road cross and you're in like a full woods.
Yeah.
Like I never went back there. It's crazy. You can see young deer being born and like, it's so cool. And I'm like, I just didn't appreciate it. Same with travel. I did live in Israel for 2 years, but that wasn't really as a tourist. That was as a student.
Sure.
Like a seminary student. So it wasn't even like a regular student, So I didn't appreciate it for sure. And when I tell people like, I've never been anywhere, I'm like, didn't you live in the Middle East for 2 years? And
Have you done stories or anything in your act about being in the seminary in Israel?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Oh, no, my last special. Two specials ago. Jew.
Gotcha.
It was all based on that.
That's fascinating.
That's the one that's coming on Netflix.
Okay, yeah.
The Jew special. Yeah, there's a ton of there. So I'm saying like, it wasn't like we went on, my parents took me on lots of trips when I was little, but I got a festival. I think it started here. I'm trying to remember the timeline. We go to Montreal, but that's just America. Trump is right. Canada belonged to us. So and Tijuana, but that's good times, buddy. Good times. Not cool, but it's Montreux Festival in Switzerland, Montreux Comedy Festival. And they called me to be an ambassador to find submissions. And they said, we'll pay you $10,000. It was a lot of money. And do it also at a free trip. And all these guys are going to make $1,000 who get in. And there was 400 and something submissions. And then my friend Paul Morrissey was like, hey, can you help me get in? And I was like, oh, maybe I can actually. And so they were like, all right, we're going to all watch and decide. We're going to narrow it down to like whatever. And then the audience vote. I'm like, I'll narrow it down for you. So anyone I had heard of, anyone I had met, they advanced. I just cooked it. And then also people who had like good tapes. But anyway, we went. Me and Paul, Jessica Michelle Singleton was there. Mike from Comics You Should Know, Kevin Iso. After Montreux, Switzerland, I went skiing with my brother who lives out there. Paul went out to maybe Paris for a week, and then we met back up in Amsterdam. Did a couple shows, not like headliner-y shows, but like spots to pay for like a hotel or something. We were broke, Yeah. 10 grand, half it was gone immediately, for like debt. But I couldn't just like spend it all. I needed that extra $5 to like get by for the next few months.
Yeah.
So And then we had a blast, and we were like made a deal with each other. Like, this is fun. And the cool thing was comedy brought us here. So we made a deal, like, let's go to 2 new countries every year. Let's try to make that our goal. And then I told my agent, I was like, hey, I want to go places. So find me gigs, like keep your eyes open for gigs that are like out there.
So you perform a lot internationally. Also.
Yeah, I love it.
Interesting.
I love the different, where the audience is coming from in like Scandinavia versus like Eastern Europe. They're wild audiences. They're wild. I just like seeing different vibes of, in Sweden, they all clap at every joke. And I had to be like, stop clapping, laugh or not. The Asian. So yeah, he got me a tour of China and Hong Kong. And then I was just hooked. And I was like, I want to go everywhere.
Amazing.
My friend there I met told me about a full moon party in Thailand. I was like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And so then I figured I kept doing the 2 countries every year until the pandemic year. I got 1, Ecuador.
And got to go in deep.
I got to go in deep, 6 months in one country. It was pretty cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. And then sometimes it'd be for touring. And sometimes it would just be like, I'd finish a big project and I'm like, I'm leaving for a few months and getting off my phone.
Yeah.
And just like,
how did that come about? That's crazy. Like, and so interesting that you're just like, I'm going to get a burner. You can't access me.
You can't access me.
Bye. I'll see you in like,
I lock myself out of my passwords. So this is what I'll do. I'll get like my email and also my social media and all of it. You go to like reset password and then I go like this. And then I cut that and I send it to a friend. And I went, that's my new password. Don't give it to me. And then I delete the email and delete the email out of my sent folder. And then I'm like, I cannot get into that anymore. So that's it. And then when I leave, I'm out. And even if I want to, and I wanted to many times, I couldn't get in.
You're so lucky because I'm a journalist. I have to be like online to the point where you're overdosing on it. It's like I'm online all day, every day.
Why do you have to be?
Because I need to know what's going on in the world. That's the job of the journalist. You got to keep up with events and you're writing about things in relation to what has already happened. Okay. It's
fair.
But I would love nothing more than to just have one of those phones that has no smartphone function. I feel like it's clearly destroying people.
It's destroying our brains, our attention spans, our productivity.
How do you deal with anxiety in life, in performance, in travel? Because like I said, it was just surprising to hear you talk about that. But I feel that way. When I'm dropped, I have anxiety, but just like being dropped somewhere the first day, you're just like, this is very jarring. Yeah. And you also talked about being socially nervous with strangers, which again, I'm like, how is that possible? Like with comedians, it's like, it's a paradoxical thing sometimes.
It is. Susan Cain has a book about introversion called Quiet. Mm-hmm. I think she wrote a follow-up to it too. Her premise is like a third, look how dorky I sound, a third of the population is introverted, but the world is only geared towards extroverts. And so pretty much like if you've ever been in a nightclub and felt like you should be having a better time than you're having, you're an introvert.
Yes.
And it's all about how it's like you see more things. So it's like you're overloaded, whereas extroverts see less things. They can show them pictures. Introverts see 1,000 details. Extrovert sees 500. Mm-hmm. So you're just like, this is too much. And even as babies, they're crying because they're like, this is too much.
Perceive too much.
Yeah. So when an introvert goes into a room at a party, they're like, what the fuck? And an extrovert gets right in there like, let's go, let's dance, which would be so nice. But then she covers that too. Like you can be a public speaker. There's a barrier, even though you're doing crowd work sometimes too, there's a barrier of like, I'm not actually talking to you as a human.
Right.
You're an audience member. I'm a comedian. Then you get off stage and it's like, oh, you were funny. It's like, But dude, I get anxiety every time I get dropped off in places. I always try to get places during the day. I get very scared for a few days. This idea, same with mushrooms. And this idea, I've done both of those things a lot of times. Doesn't mean I'm not scared every time I do it.
Yeah, totally. Also doing that abroad, it's like, whoa. But to me, I'm like,
that's some good mushroom trips this time.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, doing blow in Peru with some Australians. And it's like, at some point, like, no, but then a few beers in, you're like, where are you guys going? Why do you go to the bathroom so much? I'm coming.
Yeah. How has travel changed your comedic perspective? Do you feel like it's made you an observer in a deeper way?
Yeah, I know. It all goes in. So like my English major was like, if you're doing literature, it teaches you how to break down the book and like analyze it. And that was a direct like translation to stand-up comedy where like, now do that with LA. Now do that with Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Break it down, analyze it from every angle. That's just all it is. Same as you would do for a Hemingway novel. And when I'm out there, I'm observing things as an outsider, especially if I'm there long enough to another place where I've lost track of where I'm from. I come back here in observer mode. And so I'm just losing it now from this 8 months in Latin America, where I'm seeing like America as sort of fresh, and I'm seeing the foibles and the strong points, and it's just also they're not good or bad. Sometimes they're just like different. Things are different. The signs are different colors in other countries.
Is it a weird feeling coming back in, where you're just like, whoa, like the whole context around me?
Well,
like it's suddenly different than you see it differently.
It's always things I wouldn't expect. This time was capitalism. I wasn't like, I was like, oh yeah, it's so in your face. We're so used to it here, but I was not used to it. And I was like, oh my God. I had that once when I went from Myanmar to Thailand. Myanmar's not built up at all. Wasn't anyway in 2017. And then I went straight to Chiang Mai, and it's Burger King ads. And even that's not crazy capitalist like here, but it was still like, whoa, get these ads away from me. It was too much. So here it's a lot of that, and then too much politics.
Yeah.
So it's not like that other places. They're more casual about it.
Totally.
I don't like it.
I wanted to ask you about like recommendations, like, and things you've integrated into your regular lifestyle, foods, like habits.
All right. Well,
things you picked up on travel.
Yeah, sure.
Traveling.
I actually have to get, if there's hot water here, I got to get mate. I'm all hell on mate now.
I saw, yeah. You're a mate guy. So
yeah, I'm off coffee. I'm on mate. I'll do it if I don't have my cup. And
why is it better?
It's like, you drink coffee?
No, yeah, I know you got like the little straw. The metal
it's nonstop. So the ritual of coffee, you can only do that 3 times, 6 if you're really like a fucking loony bins. You could do 2 real and then switch to decaf. But that going up, getting a cappuccino or an Americano with a splash of oat or whatever, that's the ritual. It's like, feels good. But you're gone pretty fast. Unless you have those self-heating cups you can sip. This is like, you just keep going and going and going and going.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the high, this is the coffee high. You know, 1 cup you're here, 2 cups you're like, I'm jittered, I'm ready, let's go to a meeting. And then at 3 p.m. you're crashing.
Or sooner, yeah.
Yeah. Mate's like this. Instead of this, it's like that.
What is that?
That's the high. It's a slow build up and a slow build
nice.
down. Yeah, it's smooth. You don't ever go like, whoa, that hit me.
Would it be easy enough for me to figure that out?
Yeah. YouTube videos.
Where do you buy it?
Probably Amazon, unless there's an Argentinian store nearby.
Yeah.
There is one in New York, in Soho, that I found. I was like, oh, you already have it. Wow. I was like, you have a fucking box. And I started talking in Spanish. I was like, yeah, where are you from? And I hit it off with them, practiced my Spanish. I've been in the bars he's been to in Buenos Aires, so it was like, oh, cool. But yeah, I got up anyway. But yeah, you have to get a little kit.
Yeah, right.
If you have a hot water thing with like a spout like that, perfect.
Yeah.
If not, you got to get into a thermos with like a spout, or you can do it anyway. But yeah, you watch a YouTube video on how to do it. It's not like mixing it.
Right.
It's you fill up a cup pretty much like this, and then tilt it so there's like a little sliver that's open, and then you keep filling up the sliver and just keep strawing it.
That sounds cool.
And it's not boiling water too. It's like, I think it's 170, something like that.
Anything else that has been?
Yeah, I do a New Year's tradition in Ecuador, especially in Cuenca. They have this thing where it's a few things at once, but like they have effigies, some good, some bad, and some like made up. Some would be like Spider-Man, but some would be like Donald Trump. One was like COVID when I was there, little COVID like doll, and it's filled with like, it's plaster. Sometimes though, the bigger effigies, some of the plaster ones, some of them, it's like straw in like shirt and pants, filled up with straw, and and everything, and then with like a hat on it and like glasses, and you burn it at midnight on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. And
before that, you take all your regrets or the things you want to leave in the past, in last year, things you're sorry for, you write on a piece of paper. And if he's got like a button-down shirt, you tick that list in his shirt, and you light it on fire, light the whole thing on fire, and it goes up. I actually did it outside Sal's place once, and we got the cops called on us because it looked like we were burning a human. It was a human-sized thing, and the cops came, and I was like, yeah, I know, these kids are here. We chased them out. But I do that every year now. And if I can't find an effigy, I'll find like one of those tins of mixed nuts, and I'll put the stuff in there and burn that.
Yeah.
Jump over it 3 times at midnight.
Where do you want to go next?
I want to go back to Asia. It's been calling me for so long. But also I want to really explore more of Eastern Europe. I just went for the first time, my last tour.
Yeah.
Bucharest and Cluj-Napoca, and then Ljubljana, and I was like, oh, these people are built different. There were people in that audience in Ljubljana in Slovenia. I was like, it like hit me. I'm kind of in the moment when I'm on stage, and like I'm a conversational style.
Sure.
And then if I have to break off, I'll be conversate that way. It's not like crowd work, but it hit me. I was like, well, you guys are pretty, do some bit about America government. I'm like, oh, but you guys are like more of a new country. I remember Yugoslavia.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, how many of you guys remember this not being Slovenia? 20% of the crowd was like, yeah, I was here before it was the country that it's in. That's so like you guys fought for it. Your parents did, at least. Such a connection to it. And then in Romania, they're still living in the shadow of the Cold War. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Holocaust is like 3 wars ago for them. That's like, oh yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm. I loved it. That's where I'm Romanian, so I would have been from there.
There was something really funny on your mom's house recently where it was like a game. It was like, is this Chernobyl or a Hungarian hospital? And you have to like guess. And it was like, this is a Hungarian hospital.
Yeah,
this is a Hungarian hospital.
You can't tell.
So funny.
That is funny.
Is it actually the end? Because you're doing that show at Netflix, like...
yeah, I'm doing the show. I was going to not.
Netflix is a joke.
I was going to leave. I was going to put this out in like late March, early April. And then I was like, no. And then it's like delayed for that prologue. Like, got to give him time to work on it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, a little later. And then I had a wedding I had to go to. So I'm like, all right, the week after that wedding. And then I was like, all right, I'll leave right after that. Maybe leave the country. But then I was like, actually, you know what? Like, for promoting stuff that's like afterwards, like I should keep promoting it. So I'm like, yeah, let me do that show. Mm-hmm. I was kind of half thinking of like, that was the last show I ever taped, but I'll do this one live last show. Maybe I'll do some live here or there, but no, it's kind of like, I don't want to just stop doing it completely.
Why?
I wrapped it up. It wasn't wrapped up right.
You did as much as you wanted to do with it.
Yeah, there's like not a non-zero chance it would come back again. It wouldn't be because like it made a ton of money. I know what it might be to get me back. There's like one story in particular that I've always wanted to record on the show.
Whale.
What? Yeah.
White whale.
And if I could get that would be worth me coming back. But that person's not doing that story. So it's pretty minor chance.
What do you want then for the next chapter of your career?
I don't know. I'm kind of in it. It's kind of like asking LeBron what he wants to do next after he wins a title. It's like, what do you mean? More titles, maybe? I don't know. Stay there. It's not going to like, I'm going to get into acting. I mean, I keep experimenting, doing stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Helping more of my friends do their specials. I really like that. The ones who can't get them done on their own. I like helping comics.
Yeah.
And then just building like thematic-ish specials. I'll maybe write a book of short stories. Not working on, but should be working on. More traveling, seeing the world, enjoying life, hanging with friends.
Very good.
Yeah.
I enjoy your work so much. So really, really fun conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.